Hello everybody, hope you're all doing fantastically well. Little bit of an update for me. The Telegraph have just reported something really interesting. Now, we're all talking about exits, we're all talking about players leaving Leeds in the summer, and this is really interesting because Telly Football have just released that the 49ers are expecting Leeds to get permanent signings, permanent deals away from the club for Marc Roca, Max Verber, Jack Harrison and Diego Llorente. Now, I am not a mathematician. Whatever. I'm certainly not. I'm not even good at any of that rubbish. However, what I can tell you is when you're looking at Transfermarkt, when you look at online and their predicted valuations, it's really interesting when you look at the summer months because is there positives here? Some real positives. Because if Leeds are able to accrue, I mean, what's the lowest value that we're looking at here? Marc Roca, 10 million quid. I'm really surprised that they're saying that they believe there's a permanent signing there. Maybe there's stuff going on in the background. We reported earlier on this week that Betis are looking at a loan. But Leeds, whatever the outcome, apparently think they can get permanent deals for these players, according to Telly Football. Marc Roca, 8 to 10 million quid at the lowest, is being reported. Diego Llorente, you're probably looking at, what, 5 to 8 million quid? Tops 10? Let's round that up, sort of 20 million quid. Jack Harrison, easy sort of 10 to 15 million quid. If we're being realistic, lowest below 10, I reckon. But he's got decent time left on his contract, as has Diego Llorente. Not bad age when you look at Jack Harrison. What is he, 27 years of age? You're probably looking at around 10 to 15 million quid, I'd say. I know we're playing Football Manager at this moment in time, of course. And Max Verber as well. What, 5 to 10 million quid? So that's not all going to be investment that can go straight back in to the squad. But what it can do is entice players a little bit to stay at the club. And we've spoken previously about me definitely knowing and me sort of conversing with you guys and letting you guys know there will not be a fire sale this summer. And is this the collateral that the 49ers need to turn round? And if these player sales do go through, if we're not having to loan players back out again, is this a huge benefit for Leeds United in keeping your Willian Jonsos, in keeping your Jorginho Rutters? Now, realism, bang, smacks you in the face. What is probably going to happen? Somerville's probably going to leave. If we do remain in the Championship, touch wood, we don't, and we're victorious in these playoffs. But if we're not, we're okay PSR-wise. Money-wise, coming in from these transfers, the realism is Somerville leaves. I think Nonto leaves. We've seen him kick off previously when he wasn't allowed to leave. Predictably, you're probably looking at a scenario here where he does move on. But maybe a Jorginho Rutter, maybe an Archie Gray. There's conversations about Ethan Ampadu potentially moving on. And Ethan Ampadu, there's not going to be an exodus at Leeds. There's not. And I can tell you that for a fact, because I know that. I've been told that by a good source. But it's who goes. Because if there's a scenario where it's 1 in, 1 or 2 out, and 1 or 2 in, which is what I mentioned not long ago, that wouldn't be a woeful scenario if Leeds are in the Championship. Is it going to be as good, the division, as this season? I would say no, but in our luck, it will be. But Sheffield United, predictably, are going to come down, over 100 goals conceded. Luton, I think, are going to come down as well. Burnley are going to come down. They're all going to be in a decent state for the Championship, and they will have those parachute payments, and they will be the most attractive teams in the division, no matter what, annoyingly. Leeds United have the grandeur, the stature. We are the biggest club out of obviously us 4 if we were to stay in the division. But worst case scenario, it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too bad. You know, if Southampton stayed down, they're going to have some serious sort of conversations within that club about players going. I think a lot of Saints fans are very well aware of that. I don't think it's a good scenario at all for them staying down. Similarly to Leeds United, but I think we're almost at a better point, at a much better point than the other clubs. Leicester had to go up. Southampton, I think, have to go up. But Leeds United, could we be in a decent position? Still the second year of parachute payments. We know the money that we have to pay back, but the problem with us as Leeds United fans is we've all been thinking, oh my God, the worst case scenario is here. Everybody leaves. There's a fire sale. I don't think that's going to happen. Sellable assets, Somerville. Sellable assets, Nonto. Sellable assets, Archie Gray. Sellable assets, Jorginho Rutter. Who's really going to go in that list? It's probably going to be Somerville. It's probably going to be Nonso. Are they replaceable? Well, Leeds have to... There's surgery that's needed on the entire squad. We all know that. Why? Well, because there's players out of contract. There's mass experience leaving when you look at Aileen Cooper and Dallas. We need a striker still, you know. Do we need a bit of investment in that midfield as well? Pascal Strauch's out for 10 games per season. Do we need to look at that? The goalkeeper, we need to look at that. So there are mad things that need to happen, huge things that need to happen. But when you come in when you're looking at our best players leaving, an exodus on that front, we know already that Mark Rocker doesn't want to come back. We know that. Technically, I'd love to see him in the Championship in our midfield. Won't happen. He's not going to come back. Okay, fine. If Telefootball are right, and we can get a permanent deal from this summer, that'd be fantastic. 10 million quid, whatever, even if it's 8 million quid, which has been reported 8.6. Llorente, 5 to 10, as I've said. Jack Harrison, 10 to 15. You'd hope if it is Everton, if they can afford it. If not, you're hoping maybe a Forest if they're to stay up, something like that. Or a team that's going to go up and maybe look at that, potentially a Leicester or something like that, who knows. And then obviously, you know, we've got your other two as well, who are obviously quite predictable when it comes to this scenario. But the overriding point here, everybody, the overarching synopsis regarding this might give Leeds a lot more collateral in terms of keeping these players around, not having to sell. And I think that unknown, the abyss of which we've all been thinking about when it comes to Leeds United, about not really knowing what the summer is going to involve. Are we going to be losing all these players? Oh my God, what's going to happen? Are we going to be sort of 10th, 11th, 12th, and the obvious 13th to 15th, back to Leeds United's old position in years to come? Worst case scenario, I don't think it'll be that bad, and I still think, worst case scenario, Leeds will be challenging for that top two next season. And I think this sort of confirms it. It's a really positive report, because these players are never going to play for Leeds again. But if the 49ers are willing to put their necks on the line, they'll have, you know, there'll be a few leaks down there saying to Telefootball that 4 of those players they're confident will get permanent deals. There's conversations going on in the background there. There's conversations with other clubs. And you're looking at Aronson and Christensen, unfortunately, they're probably going to have to go back on loan again because they're just never going to get a transfer fee. But 4 permanent deals means that Leeds have collateral for the players. They don't have to be selling. But also it means that some of that is hopefully going to be dipped into the transfer pool, the transfer, budget pool. But also, as a number 3 to that, it means that there's not going to be as much pressure on us when it comes to that money that we owe back. All positive news. Worst case scenario isn't that bad if this is all true. I think this gives us real good capital, a real good scenario. And if they can get these deals done quick, and we can go into the window with X, Y, and Z, and it all being sorted, and us not looking at a scenario where it's like, getting done later on down the line, it looks like Rocker's going to be the first one to go. That's all positive news. Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll see you in a bit.